Hi, everyone. Welcome to Demonology Today. It's the real Deels, formerly Demonology Today. Tonight we're talking about Garabandal. There's a movie coming out. It's on deck, even though it's in Spanish, but it looks like it's well produced. Selling haunted items for charity. The movie Portrait
for any
of Jennie.
Purposes. Yes.
Movie Portrait of Jennie, 1948.
Total ghost story.
It's not so much a review. It's our analysis, our dissecting, and more Ask a Demonologist questions tonight. And it begins now. Welcome, Earthlings. We are back. Another Thursday night, another 8 o'clock, and it's very cold outside.
You sure
so
about
we
that?
hope everybody's getting warm by listening to the show. Your toes in the fire and your marshmallows and your socks. Something like that. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to look at the earrings Farah has right there. You can
enjoy.
That looks so natural. Looks like real earrings.
I know, doesn't it? And I have no sound in my headphones. Did you even plug me in?
Oh. Well, let's check with let's get our Mouseketeer sound off. Deb Johnson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, there's one.
Yeah. And
Michael, are you with us?
I hear you.
I'm here.
All right.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Glad you can make it. Christopher Sampson is on assignment. In other words, he has a cold.
That's right. He's on.
He's on assignment at bed rest.
He's on honey and pineapple juice right now.
Yeah.
Our poor Christopher.
I think I should go on assignment next week.
Yeah, we're all going on assignment for Christmas.
Goodness.
Are we not going to have a Christmas show? It falls on a weird day. It's what is it, Monday, or is that Christmas Eve?
I have no clue. You're asking me. Before you start blathering, remind everybody, hey, you guys, if you haven't already, like us on Facebook so that you can stay in tune with all our great giveaways. We've got tons of bling to give away. Well, maybe it's not so blingy, but I think it's like kind of cool. It's like all sparkly. Can you see that? Ooh.
Yeah. Well, these premiums aren't next week.
No, these are this week, but
Mm-hmm.
we've got lots to give away. We've got a really cute Santa package to give away just before Christmas. So stay tuned. Keep your finger on the share and like. And you know what? We've expanded the whole share thing, you guys. You guys can share it on Facebook. You can share it on Twitter. You can share it on Instagram. You can share it on LinkedIn. Just click away, share, and you're entered. I've got so many shares and I'm still cutting them out, you guys. Thank you. So
thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
To that. Well, we're going to give those away, Farah.
You said we're giving away 2 tonight, so I guess we'll just wait till... why don't we ask Dr. Freud?
Dr. Freud.
Ask Dr. Freud when we should give one away.
Okay, we'll ask Dr. Freud. Where is Dr. Freud?
I think he's
Dr.
hiding
Freud.
his head.
Dr. Freud coming. Dr. Freud. There he is. I am Dr. Freud's therapy ball. Please have a seat. All
Please.
right.
Please.
Dr. Freud, where are you? I went bowling with him the other day.
Okay, when does Dr. Freud tell us to give away our premiums?
Should we give away 2 premiums tonight, Dr. Freud? It says breakthrough. What's that mean in psych language?
I don't think I want to know.
When should we give them away?
I don't know. Hi, Steve. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Margaret. Oh, yes, it is a
He
cute
says
little
breakthrough
thing.
again. Apparently, he needs.
I'm going to break him. Hand me that ball.
I think he already is broken because I went bowling with him.
You know, maybe we should ask what's his name on the Van Allen or Van Halen belt. What's his name again? Stephen Gawking.
Stephen Hawking. Oh no, we can't do that.
Hey, Zoma.
Those days are over.
You got to pray us in so we can start our blather.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't want to bore
Time to say hi to St. Michael and ask him to watch over us, folks.
In the Father and the Son, Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Amen. Saint Michael, the Archangel, defend us. All in battle be our protection against the mouse and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, and we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine powers of God, cast into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who roams the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. O Mary, a heavenly mother, pray for us who have recourse to thee.
Amen. Hey, Steve and Ann just joined us. Hi, Lori. Thank you all for joining us. If you missed it, give our page a like so that way you, too, can stay tuned for your next cool giveaway.
What is that again there? That's a magnet, isn't it?
This is a magnet.
It's a refrigerator magnet.
It will magnify your life. Let's see. Can you guys see that? It's like so blingy. And look at that. Ooh, it says real deals on it.
You can make it an ornament if you want to get fancy.
Whatever. It's just a magnet, you know? It's like, whatever. Okay?
Yeah.
And then we got this step into my crystal keychain. Ooh.
Wow, I want that. How do I... Oh, that's
so
right.
anyway,
I didn't share it tonight. Oh, darn it.
We've got so many to give away, and we got some really, really, really cool ones we can't even talk about yet. Because Ken wants to keep it
it's a trade secret.
Oh, whatever.
It's a trade secret.
So anyway, stay tuned, because we're going to have fun, because...
Because we can.
That's right.
And we got to get the dark stuff out of here.
Oh, top of the hour, yes. Oh my gosh. But first, you know what? We have to say a prayer. Mike knows this for sure. We've got so many fires ravaging California right now. And it just hit. I grew up in San Diego, San Diego County, folks. So before you go to bed tonight, let's spare a prayer for our brothers and sisters in California.
All the Trump supporters.
And hi, Sophia. Hi, Rosalie. Hi, Daniel. Okay, now, top of the hour. Other news.
If you can see it on your monitor there, Farah Rose.
Of course. Did you want me to read this one, darling?
Yes.
I like how you punt it off to me. Okay.
Oh, I can do that next time.
Oh, that's true. You could.
We'll get Iggy, our
Iggy Pop
studio clerk, to do it next time. He asked for tonight off.
Either that or, maybe we could send smoke signals to Mike. Maybe he'll see through all the smog. Poor guy out there in California.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Well, this news story we bring you tonight is pretty sad. We have a lot of unrest, civil unrest and other all over the country right now for a variety of reasons, and it's going on all over the world. It isn't necessarily any one specific causality. This one is a very, very strong cause. Father Stephen Umbrato, voice for Priests for Life, usually is a very peaceful protester, and he protests all over the place, especially in places where they have doctors that are performing abortions without licenses, doctors that are performing abortions where other people don't know they're performing abortions, or where there are places such as like right here in Springfield where there's mitigating laws, circumstances, stuff like that. And what he does is he shows up and he asks people, do you know what's happening? Do you know what you're doing by killing the child that is living inside of you? And of course, a lot of people don't even know. They just go sign up and think, well, Jesus, like getting a tooth pulled out, right? So he peacefully protests. And lately they started the hashtag Red Rose Rescue by handing a rose to prospective mothers. He was arrested by going inside an abortion clinic. Now, it wasn't, the title's misleading because it wasn't exactly an abortion clinic. It was a clinic with many doctors inside of it. One of them was doing abortions, and it was illegal. Yeah, it was just not a happy thing. It was not a good thing. So consequently, they warn him, you need to leave. What they do is they read you a right of trespass. They ask you to leave, and then when he says no, the babies that you're killing don't have that option to leave. So I'm going to stay out here, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to hand out roses, which he did. I mean, that's as pretty peaceful as you can get. Like, he's not bashing in windows. Well, unfortunately, the police had to come. And it took about 4 police officers because Stephen Umbrato is a tall, masculine priest, and they literally picked him up by his shoulders and his feet. Yeah, it had to be really painful. We brought this to your attention, folks, because I think that it is a beautiful thing to have a choice about how and what you decide for your own health care and what you do with your body. When you take the choice, when you have a baby growing inside of you, that doesn't give them a choice what they want. And that's what Father Imperato is standing up for. So he's not going to stop protesting, folks. And we just thought we'd share that tonight because our prayers are with him and his ministry and helping women understand that they've been given the greatest gift of all.
Yeah, and for the benefit of the listeners, you can play this back and read it in more detail. But
Yes.
I think this one was yanked. It's a general thing. If you just type in, priest arrested,
Red Rose
DC,
Rescue.
it'll come up in Google. But this is the the gif of the page and everything. And there was an older priest. I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. He was arrested at Notre Dame, and he was older. It looked like he was about 75, and they were being rough with him.
Oh, I know. It's
like
sad. They don't treat people that are busting out windows like that. That's
a Catholic
so
university too. It's like, what the heck? I can understand. He's inside the building and in this so-called hospital. Take a life, try to save some. It's like, where's the priority?
Douglas, hold on a second. I got to say hi to Douglas, Jason, and David just joined. Hi, you guys.
Thanks for
so did Don and Brent.
Watching.
Did you see that, Michael? Did you see that story on Father Imperato?
Yes, I did. It's very disheartening. It'd be nice if somebody with lots of money, a philanthropist, would put together a 501c3 to cover court files and just have all of us just storm the place.
Oh, I know, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of ours who's a lawyer actually commented on a post and told Father, there's a great ministry that really, really helps with these kind of court cases, and it seems that Father met Jay Sekulow out, I think it was in D.C., not too long ago, so it looks like, he's getting some help, which is a real blessing.
Good.
And all he wanted to do is he just wanted to give the women a real choice. He wanted to tell them, what it was that they were doing. He wasn't saying, oh, no, don't have an abortion because it's wrong. No, he just wanted to say, hey, this is a human being. Can you, talk to me about it? And give him a rose. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah. They distort the facts out there, don't they, Deb? About the people who are pro-abortion. They distort the facts to make it look like, it's just a fetus. Then you're going to have a heartbeat. That's what they want you to think, anyway.
Yeah. But a single cell on Mars is life.
Right.
A single cell on Mars is life.
Or was it a protein? Oh, it was a cell of a protein, yeah.
A cell of a protein powder?
Yeah. So,
right.
Seriously.
Thank goodness
I know,
there's men like that priest out there representing the creation of the woman's body. Thank God there's people like that in the ministry that are doing stuff like that, because we need more of them.
Let me say this much. Oh my gosh, Michael, on his previous post, he goes out there and he performs exorcisms. He literally does a minor right there on the property before they open.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not disturbing anybody. He just goes out there and does it. He does mass. He just blesses the area. He's trying to make sure that people have a safe, peaceful place to step into. If you're going to go get an abortion, let's step on some safe land here.
Yeah.
It's like,
and they do it long enough to get more people to join him, that territory will be conquered,
It will be, and it's one little conquering at a time.
Exactly.
I think some of the people out there who actually still support this notion, it might have been that they had one themselves and they can't recognize that it's wrong. If they do, then the guilt will seep in. But, let's just give an example of divine mercy apparition of Jesus. The Sister Faustina says, no matter how dark your past is, you have no reason to not trust in me, Jesus said. In other words, look at, what happened in the Bible with prostitutes and Paul. Yes. Paul was a murderer. He killed Christians.
Yep.
So don't, think
totally
it's too
persecuted.
late, or Judas thought that he had to sin.
Or that you committed such a great sin. Let's say you've had 4 abortions. God still wants you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He doesn't want you running away. Don't ever think otherwise. Mm-hmm. There's always room at the table for another sinner.
Yep. There's no sin too big.
Got that right. Got that right.
On your deathbed. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Wow.
All right,
Thanks for all the likes, you guys. Thanks for hitting the like and the love buttons. I see them floating across a page. It's so cute. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Doris. Okay, Ken.
Okay. Yeah, we just wanted to touch on that real quick because we know he's on Facebook and we follow him and we see him post and interact. And so it's a friend of ours, and I thought, and it hits another topic too, but I think it does need to be said, and that we don't spend a lot of time on these topics. That's not part of our ministry.
No, it's not. We just wanted to cover briefly that, we don't, unless, you're specifically, like, if you're called to something, if God wakes you up in the morning and says, hey, I want you to go over here because I want you to love on somebody or I want you to do something, you need to do it. How many of us are called, I don't know, to pick up pepper spray and rocks and, big sticks and told to go harass people, right, Deb? And go break windows and go beat up on some stupid guy that is voicing his opinion because you don't like him, because they don't like you. How is, so basically I think all in all that we really have no business protesting unless we are going there by grace.
Yeah.
And this is what Father Imbarado has. He has a grace to do this. He has a grace to do this, a great grace.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is something very beautiful about peaceful protesting. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going to tie yourself to another person and sit in the middle of the freeway, that is not peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
That is not peaceful.
What about the ambulance rumors you hear about? What if an ambulance has to get through?
Or if you go and you basically go so you can put a hood on and spray paint other people, no, that's not a calling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even strapping yourself to a tree, if you don't want the tree to be cut down because it's like 300 years old and they're putting in apartment buildings. I mean, if you're doing that for the tree, that's still not blocking traffic, or
I agree.
It's not busting people's heads with bricks being thrown or injuring cops who are just there to try to keep the peace, and unless it gets carried away. But
hi, Trey. Hi, Patricia Pepper. Hi, Harry Wheeler. But the point is, folks, is anytime you have a major gathering and people are saying, oh, yes, let's go protest this, let's go protest that, this is a great potential playground for Satan and people that just are angry and have no reason and have no idea why they're there other than to have some fun and be angry.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I don't go to a friend's house for dinner and say, wow, I'm going to go just so I can pig out. So why would you go protest so you could just go be angry, and scream and yell and say, oh, yes, my opinion needs to be heard.
Yeah, you're the one who makes the good food, so.
That's true.
Usually I'm like, what's this? It's at everybody else's house.
There are many things that we can do when we decide to peacefully protest something. And there are many shock waves. You can, the saying that you get more bees with honey than vinegar is definitely the truth. I mean, look at poison rings of the medieval period. How many women were able to totally slaughter men that took over castles with little poison rings by saying, sure, have a sit down. Let's get something to eat before you destroy me and everything in my building. Other than, oh, no, I hate you. I think I'll try and stab you to death. Nope, she's dead.
Yeah, it didn't work too well for
peace, a little peace and a little love definitely slams a few more doors open.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that was a bad segue.
Moving right along.
Moving right along to non-dead medieval people.
Like GARABANDAL, the controversial and unapproved apparition.
Well, tell people a little bit about what is GARABANDAL. What is it? I mean, if you're not Catholic, you have no idea. What is this movie about, GARABANDAL? I mean, a lot of people follow these movies like The Conjuring, and they follow these supernatural movies that have all these, visions and supernatural activities. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers what people think GARABANDAL is and why they might have done a movie on it? I think that's a really good little short quip to introduce it.
All right. Well, GARABANDAL is an apparition.
Those four people.
That occurred with four girls, all around the age of puberty. But, you see right here that these girls are probably around the age they were in this movie, which is not in English, by the way. But it is the first movie.
So you got four girls in puberty. What happened to them? What was so supernatural about them?
Well, they're walking down, this in the woods on this pathway, and then they take apples off the schoolmaster's tree, which is right along the way. And when they're walking towards this field, when it gets closer to this tree, they hear this clap of thunder. One of them drops down to their knees, right on the rocks, too. And then the others are like, what's wrong with her? As you see in the first clip of this trailer. And then the other three do the same thing. Like they're forced on their knees, down onto the rocks. Of course, it doesn't damage their knees.
And what had happened before this happened?
They stole apples from the tree. At the schoolmaster's.
So what happened to these girls? All of a sudden they're on their knees. What had happened to them, supposedly?
Well, then there's some clap of thunder, and next thing you know, this boy appears, and they say it's St. Michael. It looks like a teenage boy. This is something that I think Deb would find interesting. You know how the Ouija boards always tell a young girl that, oh, I'm a teenage boy. He used to, tragically died in a car wreck and trapped in another world. That's the first time I ever heard St. Michael appear as a young boy. And he just looked like a boy with wings, according to their depictions anyway.
Very much, yes.
They, about 10 days later, it's an...
well-documented case.
Yeah, we got some bullet point notes right here. About 10 days later, the Blessed Mother is told to have a,
Well, let's in a succinct sentence tell people what is the movie about. The movie is about these women that claim that they've had these extended visions, blessed visions of the Mother of Jesus, of angels, and that they have special messages to relate to people. And they got this right after they committed a crime. They had stolen apples that they were not entitled to. Now, as the story goes along, what was it? They were getting these visions every day, or I don't even remember the story.
I don't remember the span because I didn't make a note on it. But
it was.
One of those
do you remember this, Deb? How quick they were seeing the visions?
Every day. The St. Michael ones were every day for 10 days, but I don't know if when... Deb, your mic must be muted. I asked you something earlier, and it's like, I guess Deb has nothing to say.
Oh, no, I just turned it on.
Oh, okay,
cool.
There you go.
Do you remember how often that these kids, supposedly saw the Mother of Christ, that sort of thing?
A few times a week.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It was a lot. Okay, yeah. Ken has here over 2,000 apparitions. Now, we're talking a heavenly apparition of these children. And... yeah, it was just really kind of crazy that this had happened in this little town, and there's and it's kind of like an unsolved mysteries, kids, because at the time the bishop wouldn't approve it, and to this day, bishop will still not approve it, and the Vatican Council and the Vatican has said, you guys look at it, you let me know what's going on, and to this day they've seen nothing supernatural. Yet people still flock there by, the hundreds of thousands, and their lives are touched in a way that are simply inexplicable to us. Do I believe, in the faith that, God can heal people because they go and they have a reverent desire to serve God? Of course I do. The visions in this...
This all happened 56 years ago.
Yes, exactly. 56 years ago.
That wasn't that long ago. And you notice how two of the girls are the same name as the children of Fatima?
Yes, that's right.
Jacinta?
And Trey pointed out, too, this is similar to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Yeah, Maria. And, I don't want to insult anybody. It's not our intention to insult anybody that believes in these visions. We're just merely stating, what we've observed, and that the church has not approved these apparitions for veneration as far as our faith resides with God, not with something these girls have seen. So to go on in detail, because we love these wonderful stories of, supernatural adventures and amazing tales of, beautiful angels and beautiful women. And there was a lot of miracles proclaimed by these visions that the girls were having that, all these wonderful things are supposed to come to pass. Well, lots of miracles.
It was only the girls, the four of them, right?
I think so, yes.
No boys, yeah. And they're all. This one's weird too.
The other, people around them didn't see anything. It was just the four girls.
Exactly.
One of the weird things, too, is that...
Fatima, it was totally different.
Oh, completely.
You know? People from all over came to witness.
Well, the interesting thing, and this is something that, because we have people ask us this, just like when they ask us about, dolls and haunted stuff, we have to look at and Mike, I want you to chime in this on too.
Yeah.
When you have, like, if I'm sipping a nice glass of wine, okay, I have a palate for wine, so I know, this one's a new cask because it's rather, shall we say, brutal on the palate, and this one's smooth because it's going down like really nice Irish whiskey. It's just like, woo, that's nice. That's because I have an experienced
palate. This one's been open a long time because it tastes like vinegar.
Okay, the point, the allegory that I'm trying to make is that unless we have any kind of education or experience with, the supernatural, we really have to judge from other people's level of judgment, or we have to decide to say, okay, well, can you tell me about this? Or, can you ask some more questions and then let me know what you find out? Well, this is what we want to do with this. We'd like you guys to ask questions. We'd like you to find out, what based on, your process of eliminating, wondrous things in your life, does this calculate as something that's wondrous and that, the church would probably acknowledge? Or maybe there's a lot of questions here. And from our experience, what, we've looked at and what we've both experienced in great detail, and I know, when I talk about this further with Mike, he's going to be like, oh, yeah. It's rather shocking. And Mike, are you familiar with this apparition?
A little bit of it. Not the whole story has been in detail, but I've been familiar with a few of the apparitions that I've come across recently.
Well, the interesting thing is, I didn't do as much research as Ken's done, yet I have, I've studied a lot of saints. I've studied a lot of visions, people that have prophetic visions, and not just holy fathers in the Bible. I mean, visions from just about every different sect. And the commonality of visionaries is that, or shall I separate the visionaries? There's two types of visionaries. There's a visionary that has no interest, no ego involved, no desire to be known, no desire to share a secret. If anything, the visionaries are very quiet. They're to themselves, and they only want to share it with a spiritual director or spiritual master. They only want it to be used for the good. And then you have the other visionaries who, they're so excited, they have to tell one person or two person. And they're so very covetous of what was told to them. It was like this great secret is just so amazing. They just don't know. And when you look at the lives and the differences of these two types of visionaries, you have, the visionaries that decide, wow, I've got to get more in touch with God. My Creator is first. So what do? They become monks. They become servants. They serve the poor. They serve homeless. They completely humble themselves into a life of service for people. And then you have the other type of visionaries that is leading tours, writing books, out there in the public, talking about it constantly, saying, oh, yes, this and that and this and that, where they've entrusted, their visions to other people, but they're very, very open about it, and they enjoy a sort of celebrity, shall I say. So, and it's my opinion that from everything that I see, that these visionaries fall in the category of enjoying the celebrity. None of them have decided to devote their lives to any sort of serious holy work that I can see, other than the one that gives the tours. And I don't really know that that's a holy life. That's between her and God. I'm not seeing... I just, in this instance, I can see why the church has so much difficulty in saying, okay, people, go, have a pilgrimage here, pray to God here, pray to Mary here, etc. I don't see it happening. So,
yeah,
too many questions, folks. Way too many questions, and I'm not wise enough or astute enough to say, oh yeah.
People just want to believe so bad, especially in a modern age. Potter's Field is gone now.
I think that's an excellent point.
They've been gone for a while. Do we have a modern day saint who's just not saintly in their
other than Padre Pio?
Right.
Yeah, since Padre Pio or anything.
Yes.
I mean, you might have to look really close. I don't even think they'll put that in the news anymore.
I agree.
That's an excellent example, kind of riding on the coattails of what Farah said. When you have the visionary that's not trying to be exposing anything, just going to a spiritual director, much like Padre Pio, that person's going to be under heavy spiritual attack.
Yes.
Heavy. You know, because it comes from both ways. They get the vision, and they wait a minute, what do you think you're doing getting visions from God? You know, we see cases like this, the people, the public celebrities, they're not under drastic attack. Like the enemy doesn't care when it gets out because it doesn't align with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It doesn't align with God's purpose. And I think, you hit it on the head. If they were entrusted with something, it would be disseminated and discerned instead of whispered about and spoken of in hushed tones. And there's just so many points of this apparition that for one, I've never followed apparitions. Nobody in my family's ever followed them, but there are great deals of people, and I like I said, it's not my intent to offend anybody that actually believes this is a real apparition or that have been there and experienced a miraculous cure. I totally believe that can happen.
There's so much here. It's just like it's like knowing the difference between the devil and God to some extent.
Or how the devil works.
There's not anything that happened that was promised to happen as a miracle. Joey was told that he would...
hold on a second. Nobody knows who Joey is.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Limabago?
Where's his name?
Back up here. He's number... Lam Bagnito.
Where are you at?
I'm not Italian, so sorry.
Where's that, sweetie?
Italian.
Show me where it's at.
It's right up here, and it says on the very top.
Joey Lomangiano.
He dies before he's cured.
Joey Lomangiano was a man that loved the Blessed Mother. Okay, you got to set this up for people. He loved his prayer life.
He loved God. I don't know if we have that much time. We give like a bio of
He was
Joey.
blind. He was blind, and he followed these girls. And they told him he was going to get his eyesight when.
But that he would see in his lifetime, and it said by the great miracle, and then he passed away on the 18th.
Some great miracle was going to happen. Still hasn't
happened, which is odd. And then there was another one that Father Lewis was another, we'll say, patron of the site. He died. He had a heart attack. He was in the back seat of the car transporting from the apparition, and they had described him as dying in some sort of ecstasy or something. And then he's buried, and they're saying that he would be uncovered later on, uncorruptible. Like some of these saints that are, they have them in glass cases or whatever in their tombs. They're incorrupt. And don't say, "Oh, I don't believe that stuff." I mean, we can actually go over that when we have the John Carpenter show, which will give a date at the end of the top of the hour. But it was another, thing that was foretold. Padre Pio was said that, he'll see the great miracle in his lifetime. Padre Pio passed away. Joey passed away, didn't get his eyesight back. He went to Padre Pio and asked him, "What do you think about this Garabandal thing? Should I go?" Padre Pio said, "Why not?" People took that old statement, because I read the oldest one, and they turned it into Padre Pio encouraged him to go. No, he was on the way to Garabandal and stopped to see Padre Pio. It's like, get your facts straight. If you want to believe in this so bad, don't start making stuff up and reading sites.
I totally agree.
One of the weird things, too, about this, and it's not weird, it's disturbing, Mike, and I think you'll, jitter on this one, is at the very beginning we just mentioned that, St. Michael appeared as a boy, and then on the 10th day, I think, he foretold that the Blessed Mother is going to come next. When she appeared, she had her feet covered in clouds. She had no veil and black hair. She didn't wear a typical blue mantle, as what you hear the other people speaking. She wasn't carrying a rosary. She held something that was just a brown patch with a cord on it. Had no images or anything on it, and she said that was the brown scapular. So they called her Our Lady of Mount Carmel or whatever. And something significant, and they removed it from a lot of sites. Manual White Balance going crazy on a VHS, and then they were promised to... that they would have this miracle of host magically appearing on this girl's tongue, and only one person thinks they got it on video where it looks like it's glowing, and she falls backwards like she's in some kind of trance. which Sister Magdalene at the cross, who made a deal with the devil at 5 years old, we told that story, had the same thing happen every time she went up to communion. She'd fall down on the ground, host would magically appear in her tongue. Mm-hmm. One time the children, and they walked backwards when they were praying.
That was the worst.
Walked all the way into town backwards, went through the doors of a church, a mass was going on, and they were told, don't do that anymore. Tell Our Lady not to send you.
Tell them what time of day it was when they walked backwards.
It seems like it's always in the evening.
It's at night, in the dark.
Dark, yeah.
That these girls are. Can you imagine hearing? Okay, these are cobblestone paths or dirt paths, and folks, they don't live like we do with like walls and windows that keep sound out. Their windows are very thin, and the walls are like mud huts. So if you hear something outside, I mean, you could hear a mouse outside or a rat skittering, and you're trying to sleep through it. So when you hear all these footsteps in a hurry, they were literally running backwards after everybody was in bed. This is like 11, 1 o'clock. I don't remember what time.
Really coarse and rocky, just like they showed in that video.
Then they were dropped on their knees. Mm-hmm. And from my experience, God forgive me if I'm saying anything wrong. Mm-hmm. God doesn't act out of order. He created order for a reason. If man was meant to walk backwards, we'd all be walking backwards as a regular course of business. Yeah. So if he's going to send us somebody that's going to give us a message, do you think they're going to be running backwards in the middle of the night?
No way.
Thank you. It doesn't make God sense in my humble opinion. This is not. Now, is that supernatural? I don't think so. I don't think it's supernatural. It is a cause and effect of something possibly, shall we say, it's out of right order. It's out of right order.
From my perspective, as far as this movie coming out,
yes,
I wouldn't even bother to watch it. That's just me. Mm-hmm. Because I have no belief in it, because it does have so many red flags, like Ken said.
Yes.
And I would rather watch something that was more educational that I could learn from.
Exactly, or something uplifting that was real, like the Miracle of Fatima. Right. I mean, whether you're Catholic or you're not, or you don't believe in God or you're not, that was a supernatural event that just so many witnesses, and it wasn't for destruction. It wasn't for self-glory. It was something that served the people and served God. I mean, if you look at the fruits of what happened there, commerce, the church was built. There's so many beautiful things that happened around Fatima, and you look at Garabandal, I mean, there was a lot of stuff built there, but they didn't get any of the approval.
And also, you're talking about people walking backwards and this and that. Mm-hmm. It sounds like a mockery to God.
Yeah.
That's what we thought when we saw it. We've seen quite a few of the tapes and the films, and it just, that's exactly what Satan does when Satan steps in.
Everything backwards.
Everything is a mockery of the Trinity. Everything is backwards. Yes.
You nailed it, Farah. I was going to mention that too. There's a mockery of the Trinity, and he does have a false Trinity. If he has a false Trinity, he's going to have a false Marian there, too. He has to mimic the entire thing.
Exactly. Thank you, Mike. Mm-hmm. And I think it's hard to see this because we really, really, we want to believe. We want to believe in the supernatural. We want to believe in angels, which, I do anyway, but certain angels are not nice angels. And a lot of times these not so nice angels come as supposed wonderful, wonderful little children, seeing wonderful little boys running around saying, "I'm Saint Michael."
Yeah.
And another thing, I think it was this the one where they changed the rosaries, the prayer beads to gold?
Well, that was one of the ones. Yeah, they turned to gold on that one too. That was
okay. If Jesus, had a nice life with his family that made great wood stuff, and he left it and says, I've gotta be poor so I can reach the people, the poor, and he goes out of his. Nah, the gold rosary thing just.
And I never read that anybody ever tested it. Did they take it to a mineralogist and actually have it tested at a lab or something? Anytime it did, because it just didn't happen until the 60s. rosaries turn into gold with, and maybe in there, it hasn't happened with any of the authentic ones. So that's kind of a red flag there too. I hate to spoil it, but yeah, it's
well. Rosalie's a little bit confused. She said that she heard us talking about Our Lady of Mount Carmel. We did not mention Our Lady of Mount Carmel in this discussion. What we're mentioning is we're mentioning a movie called Garabandal, and it is about children that had. It proposes a supernatural event. And what we're doing is we're explaining the reason that there's many faiths out there, many different Anglican, Protestant, Muslim. In our faith, there are certain procedures and guidelines that have to be followed if somebody says, okay, I saw an angel, I saw the mother of Jesus, I saw Jesus Christ himself. There's certain things that if you go to a spiritual director and you believe you've had a message for the body of the faithful, meaning the whole church, they need to investigate it. And they need to have people look at it from every different angle to see what the markers are. And then they have to give it time to see what the fruits are. And like Ken said, this has been around, Rosalie, for about 53 years, and there have been no children priests, no children nuns, no devotions to poor houses or helping people in any sort of...
Beyond?
Yeah.
Check. Come here.
Okay. All right, sorry about that, folks. If you can hear us out there in TV land... Yeah, boy. That's going to be a bummer. Yeah, the topic. So we had some sort of crash, I guess, running the video over and over, I guess. I don't know. It seems to be related to videos looping continually. Maybe the video card crashed. I'll try my backup video card next time, but it seems to only do it once per show. Resets, that kind of thing. But moving onward and upward... Yeah, we're getting close to the top of the hour, but we'll continue on this. We're going to do another show. We'll do a show on this one. It's not going to be the regular Real Deal show. It'll be just one in Garabandal, probably pre-recorded because it'll have a lot of audio-visual things. I want to show the videos of the things I'm talking about, and the people's interviews, everything, that'll say all of these things aren't opinions. The whole thing in this list, this is not opinions. And that's... I know people want to grab onto something, but this really didn't introduce anything that Fatima did not introduce already. It sort of borrowed from it and then tried to add things on. It didn't give revelations about the church, like Lacelet gave warnings about modernism and stuff. So what do we gain by not believing it? Really nothing. I mean, people are waiting for this, the stop the ride, I want to get off warning that'll stop the madness out there. And, I mean, Fatima promised it already. We just had the 100-year anniversary. Be patient. Live your life as though tomorrow was the last day. No, don't run around screaming. Keep your soul in shape. And that's the bottom line. And there's no, I guess, okay, what harm could be in believing this? Well, there is some things that can happen. You might lose faith. Whenever you get promises from a supposed, you might not believe in Fatima. You might start saying, hey, what if it's all fake? If you go to YouTube and type in Whitecomb, that's the person's last name, apparitions. It shows a guy sitting at a table. He gives a talk, a lecture, might even be a classroom. I think he's a deacon. Michael Whitecomb, I think his name is. And he tells the story of Sister Magdalene and the cross. He gives examples of how you can tell false apparitions from true without actually naming, all the apparitions by name, such as we did here, which is going on a limb a little bit. Some people are just so enthralled in this. My parents, especially my dad, I consider expert. They're passed away. Go figure. On these topics. He was that deep into it. And so they were the go-to people on that, on all of this stuff. And this is where I got it from. So I know where to look, and I just look it online. I can find it. I can find their quotes in books, the facts in books, and go, oh, okay, that one's here, that one's here. This is not people's opinion. This is actually from the accounts. All of the facts. So, if you want to get into the apparitions thing, go to the approved ones. Then we know it's safe.
Are we live yet?
Yeah. The funny thing is, the archive won't even notice that there was an interruption.
Oh, they won't? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it'll just look like a...
So everybody's still there?
I'll just pop in a different place.
Okay, video. Yeah. Rosalie says no video, only audio. What do you want me to do? Have her refresh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Anybody else saying that? Yeah, refresh if you have a problem.
Yes. Hi, Athena. Hi, Rosalie.
It's like YouTube when it...
Okay, everybody, just refresh. Hi, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for being patient. We're having so much fun.
Refreshing worked. I just did it myself.
Oh, good. Okay, we didn't lose Mike, did we?
Oh, well, Mike's here. Yeah, Mike is here. Mike is here, and the Mike's
Mike,
are
did
here.
you have anything to add? Because I think you had a really good point. We were talking about, specific markers, and we were talking about, the unholy Trinity. And to me, it is, if I tell my child, go sweep the floor, that's, something that's an order that he needs to do. Mm-hmm. But if I tell my child to hang upside down from the light and eat dog food, that's probably not really that good.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't really seem well ordered, shall we say.
Yeah.
Do some aspects of this bother you, Mike?
Yes, it does. And it's what the aspect is if this is something that's exactly an assignment from the enemy.
Yes.
It's designed to take out the entire church in that area, not just a few people.
Thank you.
So it'll be families. Families may be very enthusiastic. Go see these apparitions. Go see this. Like Ken pointed out, miracles didn't happen.
No.
Well, they're raising up these young children to be spiritual too, and all of a sudden, hey, mom and dad are excited about this thing. Something didn't happen. They fell apart. Their marriage probably fell apart, and then they're going forward, going, this whole God thing's a lie. So it could be a cluster bomb dropped into a church designed to take the whole thing out.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, a cluster bomb. Almost like an infestation of little roaches. Shared.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you got to look at that too.
There's an exorcist we absolutely love who says one book can destroy an entire convent of women. One book. The wrong book.
That's something people don't think about also.
When you look at the passions of these children and how passionate they were and how much, they believed what they saw, which I firmly believe that they do believe they knew what they saw. For whatever reason, I think, like Ken said, I think the adults in their lives were just so excited and so eager for a miracle, especially right after Fatima. I think that they embraced it without looking into it further, and before they could stop the train, here we were. And I kind of look at the whole haunted objects and that whole haunted museum thing kind of the same way. It's like, oh, I've got 1 or 2 or 3, and everybody's saying, that's not a good idea, that's not a good idea. But before you know it, the train's already left the station, and you've got 10 or 15 or 20. And it's like, well, it's stupid to stop now because, everybody knows about it, and everybody wants a piece of it, wants to see it, wants to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And I draw the allegory there because neither one of it's good for anybody.
Funny you should say that. Haunted items.
Exactly. That's my little segue in. And before we get any further, I think it's almost the top of the hour. We need to draw for one of these cool prizes, you guys. And don't forget, if you have missed out on seeing our post, all right, all you have to do is you have to like. Go to our page and go, hey, I think I like those people, even though they're kind of weird, okay? We're the real deals. Okay, then share. And we're suggesting that you have some fun, okay? Because we're not just on Facebook. We stick our nose everywhere we can. Okay, so there's Instagram. There's LinkedIn. There is, you can even pin us on Pinterest, okay? Just take our cute little page and go, ooh, Pinterest. So any form of social media, if you do Snapchat or whatever you see in one of our pages, just share it, like our page, and you're in. Okay, now this is the cool little thing that I draw from right here. Okay, what are we going to give away first, honey? You want to give away
the ornament?
Oh, that's right. Oh, do you want to give the ornament away first?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now this ornament,
picture on the screen there,
this handy dandy cute little ornament here. I'm going to give you a little close up. It's got the pretty little stuff on it. Look at that. Ooh, nice sparklies. Ooh. So you're going to deck your halls with the little real deals. All right, let's get over it already. Okay, I'll let you draw this time because I like you tonight.
All right.
I know it is sweet. Okay, now I just shook him. Okay.
Where is the
If you can't read my writing, it's your problem.
I have the claw ready.
Yeah, we have the claw. Okay, come on, let's get on with this so we can get talking.
Mix,
all right.
mix.
This is our first prize of the night. Your cute little Christmas ornament. Thanks for playing along, you guys. I love giving away silly stuff. Don't tell me you can't.
Manufactured in China. Cube Company
Whatever.
Incorporated. Oh, I just took the Cube label out. Okay, no, seriously.
I know.
Karen.
It's manufactured in Missouri. Don't lie.
I know, he's so full of it, Deb. What is wrong with that boy?
Is Karen somebody or another because I can't read my wife's writing.
Hey, Gord. Hi, John.
Write me a note.
Okay, guys. Now, I have to read my own handwriting, and I can't. Shut up. Oh, Karen Farrell. Oh, hi, Karen. It's you. It's really you. It's really you. It's really you. Mm-hmm. And we know where you're going to be decking your trees, but I'm not going to say it in public. Okay.
All right.
So, Karen, you have something adorable. Adorable. Okay, one prize down. All right, let's get in. We're going to get into our segue, folks. Mm-hmm. If you haven't already liked our page, share it. Give us a little like on our little video because you know what? When Ken goes by it, he goes, oh, honey, did you see that? We got a little heart. Or, oh, did you see it? We got a thumbs up. So it makes him smile, and heaven forbid we don't want to see him not smiling.
Of course, I don't see him till after the show, so...
And as you know, our mellifluous Deb, our producer girl, she's always here to help take down questions. If you have questions during the show or whatever, just try and hit her up, and then we're going to get your questions as we go along. Mike, M16 Ministries, powerful man of God, loves helping people out of the jungles, out of the desert, out of the wilderness, even if you're on the street. And you can always hit him up, too. All right, Ken, are we ready to segue? We're going to go to commercial break now? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what I call a segue.
All right, well, all right, kids, time to get a pop. Get a little soda pop. Little sody pop.
Yeah, it's about 3 minutes.
Okay,
so
cheese.
We'll shorten it a little bit because you're delayed.
Walk your dog. Tell your dog, come on, hurry up. They're going to have another drawing in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And don't go too far because the real deals.
That'll be part 2.
And Deb and Mike, we're going to be right back, folks.
It'll be back.
So don't lose your space. Hey, Denise came in. Hey, Denise. Hi, Lori.
Hey, Denise. Wait, which one? Hey, it's Denise. It's Denise.
Oh, you're
Hi, Denise.
such a nut.
Just kidding.
Yes, okay. Congratulations, Karen Farrell.
Real Deals will be back after these commercial messages. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. This is Kenneth Deel along with my wife, Farah Rose Deel, and we're going to talk to you real quick about our books. So we have 5 books available right now and 1 on deck. The books are the Catholic Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide, and the Christian Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide. And that's for all denominations. While we also have the Haunting Self-Help Guidebook.
Any and all of these books are going to help direct you to not just the natural causes, prevention, prayers to assist you, to keep you and your family protected.
Yes, real solutions done by real people in the field. And we're sharing our knowledge and information to help you help yourself or help a friend or a client if you're in the field yourself.
www.swordsofstmichael.org or
www.catholicdemonologist.com. You can buy the books direct and get them personally signed.
Are you looking for something special to remind you what a mystical experience prayer can be? Are you looking for something beautiful to hang in your car for protection? Try Prayers by the Bead. You'll find a variety of original, one-of-a-kind Anglican prayer beads, Lutheran, Methodist, Catholic prayer beads that are made to your specification using our materials or your materials made to order in just about any design that inspires you to get prayed right up.
Farah has about over 100 in her inventory pre-made, and guys, yes, there's plenty of rosaries and designs for you, so to give to your father, for yourself, for your own prayer life.
We have a variety of exorcism medals, including the St. Benedict cross, beads, anything for your spiritual warfare needs. So, if you'd like some more information, find my page on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
www.etsy.com/shop/Farah Rose.
Or on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
We have a date set for John Carpenter, author, psychologist. We won't be talking about psychology in this case. It'll be church miracles, Marian Apparitions. But we won't be talking about the unauthenticated ones unless they're more recent. Then I'll be just kind of an inquisitor, like, that's interesting. Tell me more about that one. But the church miracles is what we're focusing on, and that's the important thing. That we want to get a lot of these stories out there because they're great stories of history and past, present. And it's going to be worth it. He wrote some books, and it's a quick montage for the short attention span.
Yeah, lots of exciting
January
stories.
18th, 2017. Looking forward to it. And his name's John Carpenter, no relation to the guy who created the Halloween series. Isn't that right, Farah?
Totally. Deb says we can't hear anything.
Deb can't hear anything?
Mm-mm.
Deborah Bomb, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
But you sound choppy.
I sound choppy?
Oh, no, Mike. We sound choppy to you, too?
Yes.
Oh, great. How about everybody in TV land?
Well, it's sounding okay now.
Right now
It was
you're
choppy.
fine.
Yep.
Oh, it's a
Fine
load
right
of story?
now.
Hold
Oh, good.
I'm going to turn it down or something.
Are you saying anything? I can't hear.
Okay, does it sound choppier? I mean, not like that time it was distorted. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's what it was doing.
Oh, that was, it was the same? Right? No?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not doing it anymore?
Right now, you're fine.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Thanks for the false alarm, Deb.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No.
Don, Brent, can you guys hear us? Okay, good. Rosalie said yes. Oh, thank you, Athena. Thanks, Rosalie. Thanks, Steve. All right, good. And it's on with the show.
Yeah.
So here we go. Hold on to your hats.
Right? Or did you already do it? I couldn't hear.
Actually, I think we
That's
should
right.
go into our...
The Ask a Demonologist question real quick.
I don't know if we're going to run out of time for something.
Well, we'll just squeeze it in as we can.
Okay, do you want to do the movie review?
The movie review?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, you guys.
Wait a minute. Did you have the drawing already for the ornament?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And Karen
I didn't hear any of that.
Karen Farrell won that. And we do have two more things to draw for you guys. We're going to...
Wait, one more.
Oh, I thought we had two more.
One more, yeah.
Oh, you want to draw for that right now, Farah?
I have two more.
Oh, she wants to give away two more. She's feeling the Christmas spirit.
I want to give away two.
Christmas spirit has hit Farah.
That's right. It's about to hit him in the head if he
I
doesn't
only
let
have
me
two
give it away.
items, so I have no idea what the third one is. So.
Okay, the third one is the keychain.
Okay, well, the keychain.
It's a masculine keychain. We'll give away the magnet right now. Okay, we'll let you draw and
That's
pretend you
the
can't
magnet.
read my handwriting again. You're such a nudge.
Right there. So, okay, let's do it real
Yes,
quick. Here.
yes. Look at Saint Michael
This
in
is
all
the
his
Christmas
glory.
season.
Oh. Look at those powerful wings. I want some wings like that.
The winner is...
Draw me a name.
Mousetrap in there.
You are a mousetrap. Waiting to happen.
It's blank.
What better not be?
Mr. Blank? Is there a Mr. Blank out there?
You're such a nut. Let me read it. I can't read it either.
Here it is. And the winner is...
Hey, Dale. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, it's Zulma. Zulma. You will soon see your refrigerator magnetized. All right. Okay, now we can get on with the show, guys. Hey, Mike, did you get a chance to watch The Portrait of Jennie?
Yes, I did.
Wasn't that a movie? Oh my gosh. Wait, I know I am dying to hear your analogy, but we're going to give the viewers just like this brief capsule of what happened, and then we're going to slam it home. All right, now lots of movies get produced every year, folks. As you know, Hollywood loves to dramatize and over-sensationalize, especially things like, ghosts, psychics, mediums, that sort of thing. This movie is no different. David O. Selznick Productions, very well done. Portrait of Jennie is about a man. He is an artist. He is a lonely artist.
Played by Joseph Cotton.
Yeah, Joseph Cotton. He loves his artwork, does his artwork, to the point of he won't get another job. He won't, work for anything else because he's dedicated to his art, but he has no passion. So he runs into this spinster that runs an art gallery, and she says, I'm going to buy this piddly little painting for you. You need to find a muse. And he's walking in the park one day. And the killer thing, because I am such a set director and I'm such an artist, the movie is in black and white, folks. When he meets this ghost, the film focuses on him walking into a canvas. So it layers over New York City Park into a canvas. It's really cool, and this is how he meets his ghost, Jennie. To sum it up, he meets her 4 total times. And every time he meets her, she grows up a little bit more. The first time he meets her, he says, I wish that you would wait for me to grow up so we could be together forever. Remember that phrase, folks. As he continues to meet her, she grows up. She leaves him a scarf. He tells people about her. They're like, you're crazy. You've lost it. He draws a picture of her, makes more, attention, more money with the gallery. He gets a commission. He gets to eat. He's a happy artist now. He's inspired. He soon becomes obsessed with this little girl. He wants to know everything about her. So he's like, okay, well, you say your family's this and that, but that was back then. So the timelines aren't adding up where she says she is, and he can't believe how she's growing up so fast. Now he doesn't know how it is. But he wants to believe, as the beginning of the movie tells you, that the hands of time and the sands of time, all time is in a circle, and it's all happening at the same time. So, long story short, he follows her. He follows her to where she went to school. He gets in touch with people that knew her when she actually lived, including somebody that knew her when just before her parents died. He finds out exactly where she died. And he goes there. He almost dies. And then the people around him are like, you've got to go on with your life. You've got to continue to live your life. He sees her that one last time at the lighthouse. And that is the only painting that he puts out that is worth anything, is this portrait of her. So
everything always takes place at a lighthouse.
I know.
Actually, I love lighthouses.
I do too.
They're really creepy.
I do too. Well, not only are they creepy, but they're like the 20-foot ice on Lake Huron. It just groans with this just this horrible, wretched sound. It's freaky. They groan in storms. Okay, Mike, I want to hear your take on how this ghost came to be and what your take was on the portrait of Jennie as far as a ghost story. Did you think Jennie was a sweet little ghost? Mike, did we lose Mike?
Did you lose Mike? Well, don't ask me about...
No, there he is. Mike, he fell asleep. He thought it was a chick movie, so he thought he'd take a nap for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's terrible! Stop!
Yeah, it was almost like a film noir film, like the type where it's black and white in the 30s or something. I think it was kind of cool the way it was shot. The whole thing was like very artistic in mind. But yeah, with Jennie, she'd like come on like all happy and cool and like creepily just fade away,
I know. It's like, can't you at least say goodbye to me?
Right.
What's wrong with this picture?
Laughing and just fade into mist or something.
It was bizarre.
Yeah. I never saw the whole thing, so I thought seriously at the end that she was just going to turn into a skeleton and pull him into the water.
Skeletor. Oh, you're so
like the end of Ghost Story, or something like that, or it's like a Tales from the Crypt episode. Okay, so it went all the way through. It's not even Time After Time. Well, Christopher Reeve died in the end of what's the name of that movie again with Christopher Reeve? Not Time After Time.
Yeah, it was Somewhere in Time.
Opera song. Somewhere in Time. Yeah, so it's a little bit like that. It's some sort of strange metamorphosis. By today's standards, people freak out at the idea that you might be thinking about waiting for this 14-year-old to get old enough to marry. Even if you're not doing it at the time, that the fact you're thinking it, God forbid, because, like remember the Thornbirds, which is also controversial because there's a priest fooling around, but he meets this girl when he's 15.
I love that movie, The Thornbirds. I watched that with Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah. And the girl you remember that one?
No, I never saw it. Now I have to see it. I like Barbara Stanwyck. I have to watch that now because I don't know what we're talking about.
The girl in here, what was her name again there? Jones?
Jennifer Jones.
Jennifer Jones. She played
actress.
Bernadette in the Song of Bernadette movie. And she's, of course, a little older here. And I think they just did it like they did in Lord of the Rings, where they just lowered the platform that they're being shot on to make her look like a younger girl and gave her, made the cheeks more red.
Thornbirds in, what was his name? Richard Chamberlain.
I never saw that one.
Oh, yeah, that was the Thornbirds. When did that was out in, the 70s again? Yeah, that was very controversial. But... Yes. So that it's kind of like today, by today's standards, it's like people are like, I don't know about that. It's funny, where do people get on this moral high horse on some things, and on other things they don't care. They don't care at all. They're so bad that we got 50 genders now, and we almost had boys going into girls' bathrooms at public schools, before the end of 2016.
I'm sorry, there's two-legged critters and there's three-legged critters. They all freak out to the idea that maybe when this 15-year-old reaches 21, maybe the 25-year-old, how old was he? I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 25 years old, how old was he?
would trip, don't you?
I'm in trouble now. I apologize.
You're in trouble for what? What'd you do?
Never mind.
Just started it.
I'm sorry.
Oh
my gosh. Forgive me and the pygmies in Australia.
Okay, getting off topic, girl. Stay focused.
I apologize. Okay, on topic.
Apologize tomorrow.
Okay. This is what we were talking about, Michael, that I'd really like to talk about. Now, just like we ruined rock and roll for you people, we're about to ruin the movie for you. When you look at a body of art, and when you look at the all art is interpretive. What they call art today just kind of makes me want to hurl chunks. And I haven't been to Metropolitan Museum of Art in forever. Okay, so that said, to me, film can be an art because film in itself can arouse your senses and really inspire you, or it can make you go, or it can make you just go, oh my gosh, you got to walk out in the first 5 or 10 minutes. This story moves along like any brute noir piece, something that's relatively a little dark, but it's invitational. And you look at the characters and you look at the people inside of it, and it's got all the markings of the demonic. And why do I say that? Because sweet little girls that invite grown men to wait for them, that's not very angelic, people. The angels don't do that. And ghosts, if there was a ghost that was her age, that was probably preteen, maybe mid-teen, she wouldn't be so bold as to ask a man to wait for her so that they could be together forever. It just...
okay, define, you said ghost?
Yes, that's what she was, that's what,
so
he believed.
Remember, this is a reality check, so
that's what
I'm
saying.
Would be allowed to do that to begin with anyway? You're so clueless, and be allowed to interact with mankind. It wasn't like an evil...
It would only be by the express will of God, and it would be for some, usually, sanctification of one's soul, and all he needed some money on his artwork, and that's about all he did was paint one picture of her. He became obsessed. What was he? He was lonely. He lived alone. Mm-hmm. He had no friends. He had that one guy that he had a beer with occasionally.
Didn't he live in some small apartment with one bed?
Poor guy, he did. Kind of thing,
He
really did.
You know what I mean, a one-room apartment.
So it was also one of those. It was just borderline bodice ripper romance. It's like you were waiting you were waiting. You know the stupid novels that make women think like, oh yes, my prince will save me. Hello, save yourself. I hate those things.
Yeah, or it's this princess will save.
So yeah, I'm not a big romance person. People. Yeah, but this movie was taking it was taking leeway to allow you to believe that. Well, yeah, if you believe in ghosts, you believe this is possible. If you want to get all romantic and think that someone can step out of time and come find you in your miserable, rotten, lazy state because you won't compromise and get a real job just to pay your rent. That irritated me. So it's like, yes, I'm just going to sit here and be selfish and just, I'm going to just, be true to my artwork. Now, on one hand, if I was a real artist, I'd say, well, that's commendable because I just want to sit here and be an artist and wallow in it. On the other hand, all right, I need to take care of myself. What if he had family he needed to take care of? That was so selfish of him, okay?
I don't think we met his family in the movie, did we?
No, they didn't introduce it. It was more about the story of his ghost in the lighthouse. So I saw so many demonic markings in that. I told Kenny, anything that talks to me and says, I want you to wait because I want us to be together forever, I'm pulling out the holy water, go away. Don't even start with me. Yeah.
You know what? It might set people up for that because the demon sees that. Oh, they're into that. That kind of thing. Because I know people who, when they met that romance novel type scenario, they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Some gals I knew.
Oh, definitely.
And you can use that as a demonic spirit or human. So don't do it, guys. By the way.
Okay, Mike.
That's like she was saying. Like Farah said, that's the early stages of possession, right? We want to marry you.
Exactly.
What's going on here?
I want you to die in my love for you, dear. So wait for me. Abandon all you know of this world because I'm the only creature for you, even though I don't exist.
And it's like, wait for me, and then what happens when she doesn't...
right?
It's like, waits, and how many years went by? I'm not even sure about that. I think it was 10 years.
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that long, but she kept, growing older, and she kept coming back and inviting him and saying, "Come on, honey." It was pretty strange.
And then what was the ultimate goal of this waiting anyway? What am I waiting for?
Precisely. He's right there in the waves, getting smashed in the waves, and she's like, "Oh, you have to go. You have to go." Typical ghost. Leave me now. Leave me now to my delightful death. Oh, please. Please. Okay, next. Ask a Demonologist session. Just like, gag a maggot.
Oh, boy. Let's start with the image first.
All right.
This one was actually on one of those sites where they say...
That looks like one of my friends from college.
Scared.
In New Mexico. Were you going through my albums?
That's right. That's exactly.
You're bad.
Which one's you?
I'm the one in the background going, I'm going to show your mom this, you bad person.
The person put on this is the photo of my uncle, and you'll find out the reason why we're putting this up.
That's bad. I'm sorry. That's
You'll find out why we're putting this up. We're
that
not
is
promoting
so bad.
this or anything. This is the photo my uncle and my mom took one night in a cemetery. They're in fact never by a bar they were at. Okay, number 2, red flag. He is lying on a Revolutionary War era grave. Oh, okay. How did they know that, by the way? Are they familiar with that thing that they thought it was comfy one day? I'll have to come over here and try it out for size.
I'm thinking it's probably written. All you've got to do is, look at the stone, and it's right there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only picture you need to get yourself to celebrate recovery right there.
That's right. Exactly. Right, Mike?
So someone, it's like, okay, this was posted on Facebook, and I saved it, and it turned out that it was actually shared from the 10 creepiest photos. So if you look a little closer, let me zoom in so everybody can see it, in the archive and in the live show. I'll have to remove this quote from the producer block here. And you can see that there's this, You know, I don't know. People do pradiola
looking for faces. You know, the poor person doesn't have a pillow. He should have at least rolled his jacket up and laid on it.
Well, it looks like somebody got drunk at a bar. Okay, we already know. Number one, he's open because he's intoxicated. Number two, he's in a graveyard at night. Don't hang at graveyards. Okay. Number three, it's a known graveyard because it's dark and he knows what kind of cemetery or tombstone it is. Not that the whole cemetery is related to that, what did it say, Revolutionary War? And then you're surprised that, there's some sort of thing hovering over you and you think, what do you think it is? Think it's your mother?
And no kidding.
So it's like people are just fascinated with this stuff, and I was like, good grief, man, why would you go there to begin with? You probably brought home an attachment. It doesn't necessarily looks like an old hag or something. Who knows what it is? But it's funny the way people will shake this stuff down and they'll put a fascinating spin on there, like, ooh, cool. Like they almost want to be the one that was laying there, and they want to be the one who introduced the photo. That's not a nice spirit. Yeah, that's there. And look at
there's no such thing as paradiola and a ghost in that instance. That's demonic.
It's not going to be there, with a friendly spirit visiting you at night when you're drunk. And who knows why? Why is he drunk anyway?
I mean, a nice little hood that spirit has over itself too, right there.
Exactly. It's not very happy.
But
hey, Barry, thanks for joining us. We got some last-minute people.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. We still got enough time left in the show.
Yeah. Hi, Ann. Don't forget, we've got one more giveaway Ken's going to let me peel off.
Because it's Christmas. I'm feeling
You better
I'm
feel
feeling the
Christmas.
Christmas spirit. I watched Scrooge the musical. Obviously, the Irish version, as I using the accent. So anyway, but these photos, you can really kind of pull them all together, and it's like your immediate thing. It's like, okay, stop taking pictures in graveyards. I mean, witches go there to collect dirt for their ceremonies and stuff. They're obsessed with it. It's not a place you're going to meet something friendly, or your mother is going to visit you if you miss her, and they'll capitalize on that. Just like we said with Portrait of Jennie, it kind of fits too. But, if he went to where Jennie died, he's not necessarily going to meet. And Jennie showed up this way.
Yes.
As Portrait of Jennie.
That's the really sad thing is that.
People don't know that.
It's an unhealthy obsession. You're not going to go meet your relative in a graveyard. Just not going to be waiting for you to say, hey, I'm so glad you visited. Come here and give me a hug, baby. No. Not happening.
Yeah.
It's like...
But,
oh, my gosh.
We won't be doing this very often, but I just thought I'd comment on it because a lot of people are commenting on oh, cool, and that kind of stuff. And it kind
of... Don just made a good point, and Steve, or not Steve, but Mike was saying that too. She said the spirit looks like it's wearing a hood, and that's what people don't understand is that when these entities are around, these demons, there's no other word for them, when they're around, they like to look like something that's going to either make you love them or scare the hell out of you, because they can. There's no middle ground. They're not going to just look like somebody you'd overlook in a mall. You're either going to strikingly be drawn to them, or you're going to be like, oh my gosh, everybody for themselves, I'm out of here. They're going to freak you out.
This guy is leaving himself wide open. Not only has he been drinking, but obviously he passed out because he's drunk, but it's the same way if a person was to take drugs. You're leaving your soul wide open.
Ooh,
so that's why this would be very easy for this guy to bring home an attachment.
Excellent point, Deb.
And cause all kinds of havoc in his life. And it already looks like he's already down that path anyways.
Yep.
And you know what? That was something that it made me think of it too, Deb, what you just said. This thing hanging over him. Demons are, they don't have the same sensate, and we know this from numerous reasons, but let's just say you already have an attachment. That attachment is not going to share you with too many people because it's his job to destroy you. So that thing hanging over him...
and you came into his grounds.
That's right. Well, not only that, but that attachment over that man right there doesn't want any other demons by him if it's his job to take him down. So he could be very possessive of his human that he's got to destroy.
And more than one way.
Exactly.
And if it could be through an accident of any kind to take his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's so easy to stop a man's breathing in that state. And the thing, see, folks, we don't see like the demonic does. Demonic are immortal. This demonic is not just looking at this man. Maybe this man has a young child and a wife at home. Maybe he has a family maybe one of his family members are going to join the USO or do beautiful work over in Bogota, Colombia, or Africa. We don't know. But we do know that they are not given the same knowledge as the angels of God. But they do see brighter lights. They are immortal, so they are able to glean information just from following our emotions. They're brilliant. So they may not kill you until they take the maximum number of people out with you. And they don't have to kill you. We kill ourselves with our own choices. Mike, you care to comment on that?
Yeah, we do kill ourselves our own choices. I always tell my boys, it's been a long-lasting thing. Any choice you make is a curse or a blessing, right?
Exactly.
Choose to bless yourself today, or curse yourself. That's basically the gist of sin. We bring sin upon ourselves and curses upon ourselves with this. But like, yeah, a guy was just laughing. Like, I hope to God he woke up one day and going, I woke up in a graveyard. That's got to be something for life-changing event to get into alcoholism.
Michael, that picture looks like since he went there.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been on the side of the road and passed out from the blur, just walking down the street. Mm-hmm. But he went there, chose that place, found a place that was nice and flat. He'd be off the ground so no bugs would get him.
Yes.
But he was opening up his soul, whether he knows it or not.
Oh, I agree. I agree, Deb.
Yep.
One of the cases that you see on a haunting, because we know who did it, who was representing the case, was I forgot her name. I guess it's not relevant anyway.
No, names aren't important
her real
here.
name. But she took her son to a graveyard to take pictures, and he saw at the corner of his eye a hooded specter-looking thing run between graves and hide behind a tree.
That's kind of freaky.
And then he looked, and it's like, what the heck? And he goes over and looks, and there's nothing there. Well, he ended up possessed at some point. That was the catalyst that she believes that started it. Of course, she got out of paranormal investigating, and after that, it was just that curiosity. Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
If you look hard enough, you'll find it.
Good point.
I mean, how many sayings can you do, that fits, this kind of thing.
Ken, what parent in their right mind would even bring their children?
No
kidding.
kidding.
He was 14, so
why
he
would
was
you
past
do that?
Past puberty.
That's still a child to me at 14. I mean, why would you do that to your children, especially at that age?
Yeah.
They're vulnerable at that age.
Yeah, that's an awkward age.
And
it's after puberty.
Actually, at the age of puberty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Hey, Wayne, thanks for joining us. You didn't miss too much. We're almost ready to give away another piece of super swag.
Yeah, we're about 3 minutes away. What do you think about that? Sounds
Sure.
like a good time? See if we can post a picture of it.
Our next question for Ask a Demonologist.
Well, this is a topic for Ask a Demonologist because it was brought up as somebody who was disturbed by what they saw. Someone on Facebook.
Oh, my goodness. Which one was this one, honey?
Selling haunted items. I'm not mentioning a name. We blocked it out because the guy's a little bit kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're not going to name names. We don't need to. The most important thing is the topic because it needs to be addressed. What is a haunted item and what is a haunted item doing? Being sold or being coveted or being held or being put on a shelf and said, hey, check my haunted item out. Yeah, we need to talk about this. Okay, folks? Heart to heart, girl to girl, guy to guy, talk to the hand. We're doing it.
It's supposed to be a ministry for one. And I mean, that's a Christian ministry, by the way.
Not collecting haunted items.
Yeah, and so
that's not a ministry.
Let's say we talked about this,
right?
The Zach Baggins Museum. We have that show up on YouTube and on Facebook here. That there was, of course, this episode where Annabelle was brought in, and it was the first time I got to see Zach Baggins Museum, and he's repeating something for a different reason that Ed and Lorraine Warren said they were doing it, for example. because it's just better to put them all in one place, and they are difficult to dispose of because it'd be like Jumanji. You're walking by the dig site in the woods with your rifle hunting deer, and then you hear, what's that? And then you do a little digging, or you look closer, or you put your ear to the ground, and you find out Jumanji, the game is buried there. That demonic jungle game that Robin Williams got trapped for 30 years in the jungle, and comes back with a leaf for a loincloth.
Yikes.
And whatever he had for a hat, I forget, but this disposing of haunted items is, we know is it's very you got to be very careful with it, especially when it is legitimately affected by a demonic spirit, that you're going to pass this curse on to somebody else unwillingly, such as the Jumanji game being recklessly buried at a dig site, or in the movie, a site that later on a house is being pulled in, or a building, and it just simply pulled out of the foundation wall before the concrete's put in. And that's the big concern. Second is knowingly selling these things instead of improperly disposing of them is even worse. Mm-hmm. It's reckless. We have a responsibility. If you get a hold of the bubonic plague by accident on eBay when you think you're buying a cure for it, are you going to sit there and just throw it in the street and go, I don't need this? Or, how are you going to treat that thing? Are you going to risk sending something liquid, fragile, or perishable? Farah loves that word when they say that, those words when they say it at the post office. And risk it getting broken, and then everybody at the post office get it, and it goes from there. We're all turning into zombies or something. It is you have to think of your fellow man. It's a selfish thing to go as far as to not think about who. And this goes back to this one tale of a haunting that's supposed to be true, because it's been on 2 of those haunting episodes, and where the guy sold the house for $1. He brags about it. And I'm like, okay, what about your mortgage? You're going bankrupt? It's like, why would you sell it for $1? Because first you're selling it, and you're passing it on to somebody else. If it's so demonically haunted, why don't you just burn it to the ground if you're that nuts? Mow it down I don't even want to give Zach Baggett's credit. I think he probably grabbed a bunch of stuff and stuck it in a museum and mowed the house down so people can't prove that the house itself was nothing, the boy was possessed. Because as you remember, Zach Baggins mowed that house down where... The Diocese of Chicago actresses worked on this case where this boy, in the division of family services, a social worker and a cop, saw the boy walk backwards up the wall. He was possessed. Well, when the family was out of there or something, Zach Baggins decided to buy the house. He's like that. What's the name of that movie, Farah, Abattoir? We should It's like taking different parts of these extremely haunted houses and trying to assemble a new house out of it to make the world's most haunted house.
That was
Zach
really
Baggins.
Bizarre. That was bizarre. We can do that one another week.
We should take that apart. That had really good special effects in there, too.
Totally creepy.
But, so... Anyway, I think it speaks for itself because some people freaked out and other people don't want to affect the paranormal celebrity palling status. Like, oh, gosh, you may not want to take a celebrity... shot with me when I go to their convention. I won't get that selfie, with them with the camera caught in a candid in a hallway. Well, is it really that important? Shouldn't you say the truth regardless of the consequences? Especially in these kind of cases because other people are going to be affected. That these items are going to be sold. It says fundraiser for ministry. That insinuates something for God, right? I mean, just when I ran my homeless ministries, I was always in need of money, but I would not. We came across so many tainted objects with houses we did in the Tenderloin. I would not sell any of those objects for $1 million to donate to my ministry. We destroyed them. Yeah. There's just no way. I mean, it goes back to Joshua 7 and Achan, right? Do not bring back defiled items because it defiles the people.
Thank you. Well, and what does it do, Mike, if you actually sell and you profit from a defiled item? What kind of invitation is that spiritually?
That's just aligned to my business model with Satan.
Thank you.
He just
He just went not only to the head of the class, but he went to the head of the board. So he's he's in the lead position, saying, "Okay, I get to determine where this company is going because you just made money off my idea, my product, and my productivity."
Yeah.
Are you hearing me, people?
It's an evil takeover. Step aside, Mike. This place is mine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you? I hope everybody's hearing us loud and clear. You have a haunted objects. You make money off it. You get attention from it. You get fame from it. Who is in charge of you? It ain't God. It ain't God.
That's right.
That's why I married her. She's wise. So.
I just get a little aggravated. Mega aggravated.
Oh my gosh! I know. I mean, so besides the passing,
thanks, Mike.
Your curse onto somebody else.
Yes.
And remember the Dybbuk's box story that it was supposed to be based on this guy? I think there is a haunting episode or guy sitting on a stool telling a story that he bought it on eBay or not. It's the only auction site I know of anybody spends time on now.
Exactly, Wade.
And so that means people are selling them on eBay. We know there's a guy over there on the East Coast who decides to use Satanism to haunt his house and then tell everybody to take off your Christian medals and stuff before you go in.
I know. How could you do that?
He made it a haunted attraction.
What shade of stupid are these people? I'm sorry.
That's right.
But it's like, I might be Mexican white, but it's like, what is that? I mean, is that a new color in the box of crayons, people? Take off your flippin' protection.
Deb, this is time to comment.
Deb, pull out the dinosaur out of your closet. Don't scare.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry, Deb. I'm sorry, Deb.
Yeah, I had a toy T-Rex. I ever tell you about that? I got one of anyway.
Let Deb talk about her own little T-Rex.
Okay.
We couldn't wait to get it out of the house. Are you kidding?
I know.
Kidding? And if you think about it, people who want to buy these haunted objects, doesn't that tell you they're not right in the head? Either they're not right in the head.
Well, there's
proof. They want something to happen because they don't actually believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they think it's exciting because it's glorified on the TV shows,
or they want to see proof.
Yep.
I can tell you, for example, a case that I worked on in Plymouth, Michigan. The lead investigator, it wasn't a matter of him not believing. And I was brought along to verify what they had found. Mm-hmm. And he knew evil was evil. But because he had a lot of emotional difficulties, as it was, relationship difficulties, addictions, etc. Mm-hmm. Because like so many people, our desire to connect, it's like the desire for hunger and the desire to live is so strong to connect. Maslow's little pyramid, which is really, humanist, but it is ingrained in us to connect with other people and have relationships with other people. He wanted something to happen to him so bad. I see in people like Ed Warren the desire to confront something in order to have that experience. The desire consumes them to the negative, and it forces them into positions and situations where they leave themselves open to the tyranny of evil because of their choices. Mm-hmm. And I look at this, and I look at the situation that naturally occurs with the Dybbuk box, with haunted dolls. There are so many groups right now on Craigslist, on Facebook. Deb, oh my gosh, if you had your dinosaur right now, we could chop that dinosaur into bits and put it in little bags, and people would be buying it for like $20, $50, $100 a pop.
Not even that little. That's probably like thousands.
Piece of Padre Pio's cloth.
Exactly. It's like the holy grail of Satan. Everybody wants a piece. Why? Because they want an experience with a supernatural so bad, they're literally willing to sell their souls to get it.
If they actually saw it,
right.
If people actually saw the supernatural in front of them and things actually happening, I'll
they'd run screaming.
The hair on the back of the neck is going to stand up.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Because they can't control it. They don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, when this all happened to us, I was very frightened.
Yeah.
It was all new to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I couldn't even be left alone because I was so frightened.
Oh, honey, that makes
now
sense.
that I'm older and I'm closer to God and I understand how these things work, I'm alone all the time, except, when my husband comes home from work. But, this is real. And if you can't control it through prayer, because if you don't believe in prayer, then nothing's going to work for you. I had to get closer to God and pray harder.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely.
Things actually stop. That's the only thing that stops it. It's not no witchcraft or anything that stops these things from floating or opening and slamming and closing.
No.
It's through prayers. And, of course, a bit of holy water.
But that always helps.
The salt and the oil.
That always helps. Hey, on that note, Deb, I want to give away this last keychain so we can go into our next little question, okay? Now, this keychain, why do I have to give it away? Because it is mega cool. Yeah, that's it. This
is it right here, pictured on the screen.
But come on, I like waving it in the camera and doing like the Van Halen belt thing, like it's going, it's gone. Do I get to draw one, or you get to draw again? Okay, fine, be that way, baby.
Okay, you can draw. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, all right.
Da, 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 da. Here goes the drum roll.
And the winner is...
The winner of tonight's contest.
The winner is...
All right, people, here it is.
I got two. I must put one back.
I've only got one. What's wrong with you? Come on.
Okay, here it is.
Come on.
It is Susan Barnhart Roberto. Is that correct?
Good Lord. He's married to a Mexican-American, Spanish, Latin, Irish princess, and he's got to make everything a flippin' Latin
you forgot
name.
Arabian.
Well, you're Italian, too.
That's right. I'm a mutt. I'm a Heinz 57. Susan Barnhart Roberts. Look at you. St. Michael is coming to town for you. Hey, and if you guys did not win tonight, don't flip out. I cannot tell you how many cool things are on my bench this week just for you guys, all right? So, you just have to stay tuned, give our page a like, find a cool... Okay, because we have all these cool posts, okay, saying that we're having the show, so just share it anywhere, all right? And then go, I shared, and I'll see, and we'll go like, okay, here goes your name, okay? Here goes your name. So, our next Ask a Demonologist question, which, I'm really looking forward to getting you guys' opinion on, because this is mind-blowing. I've got a lot to say about it, basically, because it is a serious point of contention these days. This is a really, really good question here, and it begs to be addressed in specific ways, and there's more than one way to answer it, but I'm, going to just go to the short and sweet, and then we're going to go around and we'll talk about it. This is the question here. And yes, Lori Clark, I know, isn't it wonderful? Susan won. Congratulations, Susan. Okay, here it is. Let me put my little glasses on because I can't read my handwriting either. All right. Is there a specific way to determine? Now, this is the way to determine if somebody has an attachment or if they're having a mental problem. Now, all right, I'm totally mental, and I'm totally. I've got an attachment.
I call it artistic,
but we're not going to talk about what his name is. So, Mike got that. Is there a way to determine if somebody has an attachment or mental problem? Now.
Oh, I mean discerning between the two?
Yes, especially if they're trying to help people in this ministry. There's a reason I wrote Haunted Investigation, and it covers this, because the demonic has certain markings on people's lives, and our choices open ourselves to the demonic. So the demons never step in. They're not really interested in you, okay? Because if you're living a life of sin, you're already having fun with them. They're not even interested. But your choices invite the rats to come and play in your backyard. Now, mental. You want to know the difference between mental and an attachment? We're all mental, folks. It's the degree of mental that we are, all right? My husband drives me nuts. Certifiable. But I love him to pieces. Does that mean that, that... When you look at any case, the intricacies of that case are going to scream, what is the result of? And like Sherlock Holmes, you've got to determine the fruit of it. All right? Mm-hmm. It's a person walking backwards up the wall. Are they speaking in different tongues for no reason that nobody understands? You know, is this person not going to church or mass, or are they having issues? There's lots of determining factors. The most important thing to remember, though, as humans, there's usually a balance. If somebody is being oppressed for any length of time, they're going to develop emotional sensitivities, such as not being able to sleep, having difficult relationships, and there's markers. There's determinant markers. All right, and from that point, you know, I don't really need to talk and blow my own horn anymore, Mike. I would like you to address this one, too. And we'll go around the table, Deb, because I want you to comment.
Yeah. Mike?
Well, since we get all these emails, help me, I got a demon. Right? Yeah. Every email.
Oh, my gosh, you guys just ought to have that on your forehead.
Right?
Help me, I'm a demon hotline. Just dial 1-800-MIKE.
You're in California, by the way. That's I should mention it. Anyways,
we are close to it. They do by now, right? This is California. But usually, if we get them to a session, because we're kind of on the fence there of what's going on, I always meet with teams. I never meet with people alone, and I have my discernment team, and maybe one other or two other people with me in the room.
Yes.
And we just let them talk, get their story out, tell us their story, and somewhere through, you know, I'll just give the hand signal to my crew that I'm going to pull out my phone and look off the side like I'm reading a text and read a litany, or do something to provoke quietly. Let the person, and have the other person ask, well, how are things going right now? Oh, things are going fine, going great, you know, or just somebody else is doing a blessing under the breath or something.
Yes.
If there's something there, they'll come up and stop it in this different voice. Right? And so if I get through the session with my little litanies and everything else, and it's like, well, yeah, I have a demon. I tell you, you're giving the devil too much credit. I think we got something else going on. You know,
yes.
They'll either listen to me or go to some other deliverance minister who will cast it out. There's nothing there.
Exactly. Good point.
So you can be there for an hour or so, just letting them talk and just poking around and do what you do.
Oh, gosh, isn't that the truth?
Right?
Oh, yeah, and it's so easy, you know, because it's very easy for each of us to think, oh, my gosh, something's chasing me because I have a mood and I can't get rid of it. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's our own thoughts, people. Ken?
Yeah.
Would you like to chime in, sweetie?
After Deb. I just want to
okay,
sure
where'd
Deb
Deb Bomb go?
I'm here. Mm-hmm. Okay, which part did you want me to answer?
Well, you know, Deb, what we're talking about right now is, you know, because from your perspective, you've got a very unique perspective surviving the horrific exorcisms that you did. And, you know, watching with your brother and, you know, the levitations, and you watched the dissemination.
You mentioned also the foreign language.
Yes, you watched all that. You watched the growling, the hissing, the abrupt
also
change.
The contortion.
Yes.
The contortion. Okay.
Yeah. Determining.
If you've never seen a contortionist, picture this on 11-year-old boy who was maybe 130 pounds, who couldn't get out of his own way. Okay, and he was contorting. All right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. In the visual, the face, even in the face was contorting. Besides the body, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I see some of these movies, or like I've seen this one video on Facebook where it shows this girl walking downstairs backwards real fast.
Oh my!
Mm-hmm. That's not too much, you know, from the truth. That's very close.
That's like GARABANDAL.
I mean, if you've ever actually seen a possessed person,
you got that right.
You wouldn't believe a person could actually do the stuff that you've actually witnessed. It's like, oh my God, you know, it's like, I don't believe this is happening. Yeah. See, but my mistake was when all this was before the actual possession,
Yes.
And he was telling us about what the beast had said to him. I said, I want him to prove it to me. That was my main concern, was always prove it to me, because I didn't believe nothing. Okay? I didn't believe nothing. I wanted to have everything proven to me. And you know what? I have to tell you, I'll keep it clean. It scared the crap out of me.
Oh my gosh.
Where and then when I was taking a shower and how I was touched and fondled in the shower, and it's like, I'm screaming in there, and it's like it got to the point where I couldn't even go to the bathroom alone. I had to have somebody come in the bathroom with me. I had to have somebody come there when I took a shower. I could never be left alone. Yeah. That's how frightened I was.
Wow, Deb, that's awful.
But after, being a Catholic, we never talked about stuff like this. I didn't even know this was going on. It was real. My mission was I had to get closer to God. I had to learn prayers. I had to do this. I had to do that. And once I actually devoted myself, that's when things calm down. Like if anything happens nowadays, little minor things.
Yes.
I know how to calm it down because I am close to God, and I do say my prayers every day and night. But it's not an easy thing. I mean, this has scarred me for the rest of my life. And it's something I think about morning, noon, and night. I think about it when I first get up. It's like.
And Deb, what do you think? Deb, what do you think about these people that want to go through what you went through? These people are just dying to go through what you went through. What do you think about that?
This is what I see, and I go, "What are they?" I wouldn't even, like I said, I'll keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
What are they, crazy? And then, like these ghost shows on TV, or even Zach, and I'm going, what an idiot. Oh, my God. God have mercy.
I know, please.
He's so stupid. And throwing good money away.
I know, exactly. Can you just, throw it away at the horse track? You'd have better luck.
Yeah, give me your money. I'll take it to the casino.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, Cecilia says we have no sound out there. Does anybody else have no sound? Are we doing okay?
Refresh.
Okay, hit refresh, Cecilia. Hey, we've got a couple more questions we've got to get to here. Real quick, do we have time?
Yeah, we're going to go over about 5 minutes anyway. But okay, I didn't get the answer on this one.
No, we always can.
Yes, just a couple minutes, okay? But these are good questions coming from the chat. I thought they were worthy.
I'm fast and furious, luckily, everybody. So,
and besides that, we have joining us tonight all the way from the Netherlands, Richard Englund. So, we have a couple interesting questions going on.
What time zone is over there? I wonder what time it is right there.
Okay, can we get to these questions real quick?
I didn't get the answer to this last one.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Let's you answer that one. Okay, baby.
It's a little hard to read, but get Father Chad's book, on the psychology of mental health. It's the only one that has a related tag. It's a real thick one. The only problem is it's half the page is sometimes footnotes because he's a scholar. He quotes from the saints, so there's a lot of references in there if you need to reference the church's stance and the past histories and that sort of thing. And the other one, of course, is Father Mike Driscoll's book, and you can type that in on Amazon. He goes into some detail, which I appreciate because we have not read too much of this from other priests or anybody who's qualified to make such a thing. Process of elimination is we use the Sherlock Holmes quotes and the book that Farah primarily wrote, Haunted Investigations, because we find that the method of deduction is sometimes the only way to go. We can spend a lot of time, as Father Amor said, on getting a psychology or a psychiatric professional, and they'll spend all of this time on examining the person.
I know.
And you're like, okay,
so
all right.
sad.
They spend a lot of money and a lot of time, and they're still inconclusive. It's like the House of Representatives.
They're reaching.
Yeah, so sometimes it's better to spend your time, especially, the priest, the exorcists out there, they can provoke and get a response that would indicate there's a supernatural presence, such as a knowledge between just a regular cold piece of metal and an actual a metal case that contains relics. that only a demonic would know the difference between the two of them. If you switch them, as we're saying, somebody's test, you are not to do at home. Those kind of things, because any provocation is not only controversial, it's dangerous. When you're not a priest, for example, so don't do it at home. The demon will try to often pretend to be a mental case and handling the person's behavior and external things that the people might try to diagnose. Mm-hmm. They purposely do it, so it makes it even harder. So I don't know when the psychology guy is going to come in handy, except when you're ready to hand it back to him, such as me and my Farah. We have diagnosed so many in the last 6 months that we ended up handing him off, and who's got that kind of money? And then who do you refer him to? There's still a problem with that, and that's another show, because there's so much to say about that one, isn't there? Mm-hmm. We might even have one of these book authors to have on the show to add to the discussion, such as I had mentioned before. But for now, you can buy the books. Some of them are worth. We don't do the guest format so much anymore. We have our regular producer and Michael Norton, our featured members of our roundtable. Yes, go ahead. What's the next one?
Okay, next one, folks. Let's get our little thinking caps on, all right? Actually, I have two. And, let's do the easiest one first. We have a question. Mm-hmm. What exactly is a demonologist, and why would one call oneself a demonologist? So, real quickly, I'm not going to answer this one because I think you guys can do it better than me. Who wants to run with it?
Well, I got to give it to them first.
Michael, what's your definition of a demonologist for people out there?
Well, my definition, my rosy glasses is...
My rosy glasses. I like how you add... Yes, my rosy glasses there.
Not to set that as up. I consider a demonologist to be a Roman Catholic that's studied into the Christ side of the demonic angels, satanic angels, and have a Christian perspective. I don't consider the paranormal people to be demonologists at all. They're more of amateurs or get themselves in trouble. From my perspective, I set aside demonology as Roman Catholic because on the Protestant side, we really don't study this stuff or keep information. So I call myself more of a Christologist because I go on the side of exactly what Jesus is going to do, although the Roman Catholics do the same thing. But that's kind of where I make that dichotomy of what a demonologist is. If you got a real one, like you guys, they're somehow associated to the church in some sort of hierarchy or members to it, or like the OFS, like you guys are a part of. You're integrated into the church, and you have some background, some trail or something the church can follow and say, yes, these guys are trained, and they can be represented under our covering.
Wow, Michael, you nailed it.
He sure hit that nut right on the forehead, didn't it?
Right?
I think it's ready to crack. Let's roast it. Dang.
It's cracking.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean,
that's right,
it's like, okay, I can't follow that, Deb. You want to try it?
Okay. Ditto. Mike did a great job. Really.
Well, and I like how he did.
If you tell people, if you listen to a radio show, oh, it's demonology, right away they get freaked out.
Yes.
Oh, you're into demons? They don't understand what demonology is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Or what a demonologist.
I'm not into demonology because I know that I do, a radio show, demonology. And, oh my God, it's like no.
Oh yeah.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, demonologist, you must study all of, the dark books, Aleister Crowley and everything else. It's like, excuse me, I don't want any of that crap near me.
No,
I'm sorry, Jesus.
They don't understand at all.
Well, I get that same comment.
Yeah, I'm not an occultist
story. Time now, people ask, what do the symbols mean? I said,
thank you.
I don't know. I don't care. Because Jesus just wipes it out anyway, so it's insignificant what these symbols mean.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've been trying to shake that title for a long time, since actually suggesting it to John Zappis in a phone conversation. That it was 2005, I think, and 2006, Ed Warren just passed away that summer. And I said, why don't you call yourself a demonologist? And, And it was kind of an honorary thing because Ed Warren, and that's where the title really became. They don't use the church, it's not in the church terminology, the Catholic Church, but the public knows it, and so does the TV, the movies. So what are you going to do? Like, let's say, think of a goofy name for an auto mechanic, like... Yes. Meister of mechanical motive things.
Like Pinky.
What if the mainstream adopted that and they totally didn't know what a mechanic was in 20 years, and you decided that I better use Meister of, you know what I mean, mechanical motive things. I mean, that's what it is. You went in Rome, you got to, talk as to Rome. People said that they understand what you're talking about. So in the mainstream, we're demonologists. On the qualification levels, what qualifies one if the Wikipedia or whatever says it's one who studies about demons. Well, they're looking at the old one, the dark arts of one who conjures demons and appeases them, the followers of Crowley and the keys of Solomon. You're on the dark side. You're learning about demons from this.
Folks. Yeah.
And a lot of them will still call themselves that, and they'll. Oh, I was just talking to Ralph Sarchi today, and he said he gets these contacts every once in a while, and it's people who think he's a demonologist of the dark side, and they'll start in a conversation. I think I first got one of those about 12 years ago when a guy sent me some text on MySpace. You remember that, before Facebook? He sent it in there, and he said he was going to conjure the demon of Easter. And he sent a picture of a flame and all that stuff, and I'm like, good grief, this guy's nuts and he's demonic, both. I mean, here we go back to that question again, mental versus done. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we got to cut this short because it's already 10 o'clock, and I have one more question to get in.
Okay, but we're 5 minutes, so we got to go over 5 minutes to get our full show.
Yeah, very, very, very good.
Okay, what is a demonologist? Look for the 7 types of demonologists if you want to more carefully define. It's probably good that you define what kind you are. It's in our notes on our personal Facebook page.
You go to the notes on that little bar where it says notes, and you'll find them.
And it says 7 types of demonologists. You might better type it in on Google and find it, too. That's the quickest answer. Go ahead.
Okay, last and final question of the evening, folks, which, kind of leaves us high and dry because we had other things we needed to get to. We're just going to have to add it to next week's, okay? So, this question is, what happens when someone other than a Catholic gets possessed? I know that's going to be really hard to answer in 5 minutes, but the other one I want to take more time on, so I'm going to save that one for next week.
Good idea. Yeah, she'll write it down for you.
Okay, so what happens when somebody other than a Catholic gets possessed? So, we're talking about Christian, we're talking about unbaptized, we're just talking about other people. What happens when somebody else gets possessed?
Michael?
I like how you did that, Deb. Michael? Poor Michael. Michael was just enjoying his Wheaties. Give him a moment.
So somebody other than a Catholic or a Christian gets possessed. Part of the road you have to go down to, too, is starting with their road to salvation. We had a situation, we were out in Cambodia this last week where we ran a little child while we were just doing light ministry. The person I was working with, Counselor Tony, discerned there was something demonic going on with this child that was brought in. She's about 10 years old. And we just lightly prayed over her, so we didn't want to freak her out. And then when I was telling Ken earlier, we saw the snake eyes manifest momentarily and go back to normal pupils. We talked with this little girl through a translator, and she wasn't ready for salvation yet, but we knew the spot she was in, she would eventually be saved in like the next couple of months or something. So we just prayed over her, prayed for protection, and taught the pastors there how to deal with her until she was saved. And then they can move forward with expelling the demon. So you have to be careful if they're non-Catholic, non-Christian, on making sure they're saved. And I ran into people that called themselves Christians and Catholics who weren't saved. That's another area you need to go down too. You need to really decide where these people are at in their spirituality with Jesus.
Yeah, thank you for that. We always have to lead them on that path because here's a real simple meat and potatoes, even kind of neo-science. And that is that every other method uses a force that is appeasement. In other words, you're giving him something, and some people might accuse some foreign policies of previous governments of doing that too. You get them something to be quiet and leave you alone and don't bomb you. And all of them do that. If you look deeply at all the methods, the other religions, they don't really command anything with any authority. Yeah. They make a deal with them somehow or another, even if it's an incense that they like, and they don't like frankincense and myrrh blessed. So don't start on that. But by some means or another, they use methods that appease the spirit. And then there's usually goes further. Remember child sacrifices? You remember appeasing the volcano gods? You know, with throw a virgin into the
throw
volcanoes?
A couple virgins in. It'll stop burping.
See, I mean, it's sad.
Is that just like feed the baby and it'll stop puking?
Even with the Jewish in the Old Covenant, before Jesus died on the cross and created a new covenant, you had only prayers of deprecation. Gosh, I hope I'm using the right word. You know how that stuff escapes me late at night. Those are prayers that you say, and the way they only could do it before Jesus, where there's not the blood of Jesus that you could plead. There was not the reconciliation between us and the Father. You could not say, by the merits of Jesus Christ. You can only say, please, Lord, please, God, please. And, in your mercy, you can only do it that way before. And even that's different than what you do, if you're, pagan or any other religion. You have no authority to order any of these spirits out. We can say, I bind you in the name of Jesus Christ, to your children, even if you're parents, not necessarily priests in case of an emergency, especially when one's not available. Try to ease the situation or take care of it to some degree. But you cannot do that without, sacrificing even with voodoo. They kill a chicken in front of, and they warp it, and they put, I'm killing a chicken in front of St. Christopher's picture. But I think that's the thing they pay attention to, is that it demands a sacrifice. It demands something. It's like I always say, it's like paying the bully lunch money. As soon as you stop paying him lunch money, he's there to beat you up.
Exactly. And so, to top it off, Dawn was pointing out that she just watched a movie where the possessed person was drowned in order to get rid of their demons. And that was a very, very popular method in Europe, especially for pagans that, saw somebody. And it extended into the Catholic Church and Christians, too. If somebody was... Yes, if somebody was possessed, they'd dunk them in water. The Catholics started doing it. They said, hey, if it's good for the pagans, it's good for us.
Wait, I don't know.
I am not sure exactly if they copied them, but I know that it was well copied somewhere. It's like, let's just dunk them in water. If a little bit of holy water is good, let's put them in the whole river. Consequently, people were drowned to get rid of their demonic attachments. And on that note, it is the top of the hour, and we must say good night, sweetheart, because we've got so many more cool things to talk about next week. I have got more of your questions. And we've got way more swag. So listen, we have got our biggest and best prizes to give away still to come. So don't forget, if you need our Mr. Michael, he's available here on Facebook. Got some great books out. You might want to check him out. Michael Norton of the Van Halen Belt, and our Deb Johnson. She likes to crawl under a rock, so only say hi to her when she peeks out. And, of course, there's Ken and I, ever at your disposal when we finally get on Facebook once or twice a day. We love you dearly. Don't go anywhere. Never forget the battle is already won, and we're here to help you fight it and fight it right, folks. So keep the questions coming, post them, and we'll snag them for next week. Subscribe, watch our page, check out our books and all that. Oh, thank you. Look at all the little happy hearts. Oh my gosh, we got flowers. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. You guys are so sweet. I got a flower. I got a little purple flower that is so cool. Thank you for all the hearts, you guys. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless everybody. God bless. Thursday, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Deb.
Same bad time.
We love you all.
No, same real deal.
Thanks, Daniel, Jennifer, Athena, everybody.
And then most of
all, Mike.
Thank you, God. and thank you, Michael.
Night, Jennifer.
And Deb. And Christopher.
and turn the cameras off. They want to go to bed already. Good night.
No. I think I'll stay on another 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, and just aggravate the heck out of me, why don't you?
Mikey! Mikey!